Welcome to Old Guy Gaming Network and a 3-month follow-up review of my HP Omen 30L gaming desktop computer. This is the AMD variant, so it comes with an AMD Ryzen 7 5800. It comes with a GeForce RTX 3060 Ti. It came with 16 gig of RAM. I've upgraded mine to 32. And I got mine at Best Buy for, I think it was like $1,500. Now, right out of the box, this thing was really, really hot. As far as temperature wise, I was having problems with thermal throttling and literally the computer rebooting itself due to heating issues. I replaced the 3 stock fans that came with it with Noctua premium fans, especially the one on the top that is rated specifically for radiator use. And I replaced the thermal paste for the CPU. Doing that made a massive difference in temperatures by more than 10 degrees. So now, even at full stress, my CPU does not get over 80 degrees Celsius. I know that's pretty hot, but the Ryzen is notorious for running hot, and it's designed to run much hotter. Now, the first thing I did is I went ahead and benchmarked this thing with Cinebench. You can see its multi-core performance was 14,310 points, and its single core was 1,528 points. On the scale, the only thing that beat this thing was the 2 Threadrippers and the Intel Xeons. And they, those are 16, 24, and 32 core machines. As far as 8 core, 16 thread, this thing absolutely stomped all over the i9 CPU in previous AMD Ryzen 7s. My first benchmark that I wanted to do real world was Microsoft Flight Simulator. I ran it at 1440p with a render scaling resolution of 100%, DirectX 11 and global rendering quality set at ultra. I do have a ultra wide gaming monitor, but I realize very few people have that. So I wanted to benchmark this in more of a real world, what most people would have, either a 1080p or a 1440p monitor. Now at 1440p in ultra setting, flying over Baltimore. I live in Frederick, Maryland, which is just right down I-70, so I do a lot of VFR flying around Baltimore because I'm familiar with it. I get between 40 and 50 frames a second. Now, I am running this with no rolling cache, so it's actually downloading tiles as we go. So I'd be willing to bet that if I had set up my my rolling cache and actually had all this scenery cache, I would probably get a little bit better frame rate. Now I would also say, I am running Windows 11, so I did take a little bit of a performance hit with Windows 11 versus Windows 10. So don't upgrade to that. Windows 11, hold off for a while until it gets more support. But I'm OCD. I have OCD, and if there's an upgrade available, I'm going to take it. I just can't help myself. Now, I had an older HP Omen that had a Intel i7 7700, had 32 gig of RAM, and a NVIDIA GeForce 1070. In Baltimore, I would get 18 to 22 frames a second on ultra. So this Omen 30L was a massive jump in graphical processing power over my old computer. Now I wanted to also run, show you a quick example of frame rates that I get away from urban areas. So I'm out here flying toward the Grand Canyon. And, I get between, typically average in the mid 50s. I get as high as 60 frames per second, when I'm out, flying around small towns, rural areas. So even better performance there. I am very satisfied with this computer for running Microsoft Flight Simulator. The so long as I'm getting at least 32 frames a second, this sim will look and fly unbelievably well. Now here's the second game I wanted to benchmark. Madden NFL 22. The game itself is crap, but the game actually looks beautiful. And I'm very, very happy with once again running it at 1440p. So 2560 by 1440 resolution with every setting in the game maxed out. I'm still pulling, 130 to 140, sometimes even higher frames per second. Normally when I am not, I'm not benchmarking, I typically within my NVIDIA control panel lock my frame rate max to 120 just because that'll match the refresh rate on my monitor. But yeah, so Madden 22 plays incredibly well on this PC. On my old computer, trying to run this, once again at 1440p with all max detail turned on, it could be a challenge. In most situations, it was playable, but I would get slowdowns and things like that that I do not experience on this computer. Now, once again, one of the things that I love about this computer, it has two M2 drive slots. So it comes with a 1 terabyte M2 drive, and I use that strictly as my boot drive. I've got a second 1 terabyte M2 drive that I use specifically for Microsoft Flight Simulator and select games. Games that I know I'm going to be playing on a regular basis. I'll install them on my M2 drive. And then on the internal hard drive bays, I've got an 8 terabyte and a 2 terabyte drive, giving me a total maximum of 12 terabytes of storage. On my 8 gig drive, that's primarily where I keep all of my movies, TV shows, music, that sort of thing. And I'll install games there that I know I'm not gonna, or that I don't really care about load speeds. Now, the next game I wanted to benchmark was Red Dead Redemption 2. Once again, 1440p with a resolution of 2560 by 1440 with every setting in the game maxed out. So I get a really, really acceptable, frame rate of 47 in the benchmark. Now, when we get to the actual, the in-game demo where the guy's running around and everything, actually get a much better frame rate. Love this one here because it looks real. Those trees and the fog and the moon, yeah, it just looks real. It's amazing how good those graphics are. What's funny is I bought this game, I don't know when it came out or whatever, on Steam. I have yet to play it. I only installed this thing just to benchmark it. Does anybody else ever do that? You catch games on sale on Steam. You buy it with, I'm going to play that later, and it's, years go by and you just haven't got around to it. That would be me. I've got hundreds of games in Steam that I've never played. I'm still kind of bitter that Red Dead Redemption, the original, was never released to the PC. I played that, way back in the day, and I was really enjoying that. And, like I said, I just don't understand. If they, if Rockstar ever just ported it over to the PC, it would sell a lot because it was such a fantastic game. Looking back on it, I probably should edited out the transition spaces between benchmark scenes. So I think that this game is probably locked at 60 frames a second. But once again, with absolutely every setting maxed out, I'm still able to generally hit that 60 frame segment quite often. But I have yet to see it drop below 45 frames. I can see the police department. Forever this place was manned by the descendants of, who would become Imperial stormtroopers. Yeah, so an average frame FPS of 55.45. Totally acceptable. Lastly, I'm just going to go ahead and run the Grand Theft Auto 5 benchmark. reason why I selected these games is I don't really have any like really new games that I know that are incredibly graphically demanding. So, you know, I went with the ones that I thought would give me a good representation of games people are familiar with. And, you know, chances are they might be familiar with the kind of performance they're getting out of their existing rig. So as a quick summation, you know, if you're looking for an HP Omen 30L, I definitely recommend the AMD version. If you can pick it up at Best Buy, that's where I got mine. You know, they're selling it for MSRP, so I got mine for, I think it was $15.99. So say $1,600. You know, don't buy it from, you know, I saw this exact same computer on Newegg for basically $2,200. You know, they're gouging. You know, they're gouging it. But if you can find this for MSRP, heck, you can get pretty much a whole new computer for almost what the cost of, you know, a graphics card, you know, a 3060 Ti from a scalper. I am incredibly satisfied with it. It is quiet. I don't hear any noise. Even when the fans, you know, kick into turbo, you know, I can hear it a little bit. And it's right on my desk, right next to me. You know, I kind of like the LED lighting. The case looks good. Just be aware, though, if you buy it, you know, you probably be smart to, you know, replace the fans in the thermal compound, you know, and once you're done with that, you know, you're good to go. But would I recommend this computer? Absolutely. I've been incredibly satisfied with it. And would I buy it again? Yes, I would. And so, now, like I said, if you can find it for MSRP, if you can find it for that $15.99 somewhere, do it. You know, I certainly wouldn't, you know, I would not pay, you know, $2,200 for it, like I said, what I saw it for on Newegg. But, yeah, I mean, I've been very, very happy. I hope you've enjoyed the video and seen some real-world examples of what kind of gaming performance you can accept with the HP Omen 30L. Please leave your comments below. And please like and subscribe. And until next time, have a wonderful evening.